welcome back. This is the third chapter on number. So in this chapter I will start with another kind of system to represent the numbers. So that numbers would be specific to kind of conversion of any bigger unit to smaller unit or any smaller unit to bigger unit. This is represented with a series of terms which is represented as kilo, and this system is called the SI or international standard. This also can be applicable for MKS, that is the also a kind of metric system. This is international standard or the metric system. So this is applicable for both of this. So the terms are written as kilo, hecta, deca, then meter, then deci. So it will be like that. Okay, deci. I will tell you how all the terms are related. Deci, centi, and milli. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So if I want to convert this to this, I have to multiply it with 10. Just remember, if I going in ascending order, so every case the consecutive term has to be multiplied with 10. So now if it is a one step down, then I will multiply with 10. If it is two step down, then the 10 into 10 it will be 100. Just remember this concept. So after that it is coming here. So every case one step down will be multiplied with 10, and further any multiple of step, every time 10 has to be multiplied together to get the actual conversion. So this is applicable for conversion of weight, kg, or length. You can say weight, kg, kind of thing can be converted. So if I say 1 kg is equal to how many of kilo hectare. How many is of hectare? So 10 hectare. So 1 kg means 1 kilogram. I am saying it in a normal term. Kg means kilogram in one total. This is kilo and this is gram. Kg. 1 kg is 1 hectare gram. Gram will be there along with that. So only the kilo is transferring to hectare. Gram will be same. So further, if I want to convert it into deca, that will be 100 decagram. So like that, every case you have to multiply it further with 10 to get the value. So ultimately, if I convert this to this, I have to multiply it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 10 to the power 6 with the value here to get it that much of milli. Okay, so this is the conversion. And the same way, when you are converting reverse, means you are stepping up. So in that case you have to divide with 10. Going this downwards, you have to multiply with 10. Going upwards means going up the step, you have to divide with 10. Okay, or otherwise you can remember that this is the bigger unit, this is the smallest unit. So when you are coming down, that will be multiplied. When from smallest unit to bigger unit going, you have to divide with 10. And every case it will be one step only. Conversion is either multiplied with 10 or division with 10. So this is the only thing you have to remember. So this is the SI system or MK system. Both case you can use it. But in FPS you cannot use, because FPS having some specific multiplication factor is used. So in that case it cannot be used. So the three system where we can use SI, that means internal standard, MKS matlab metric standard, and CGS, that means again it is a metric standard but the lower units of metric. Okay. The next topic, which is the classification of numbers. Classification of numbers. Okay. So classification of numbers depends on several characteristics of number. So if I take any name and opposite there another name, I would want to introduce you. The first of such is integer, and opposite to that you can say fraction or decimal. Fraction or decimal. Okay. Now integer can be negative or positive. Say for example, this is -1, -2. This kind of numbers below 0 are negative integer, and positive means it is higher than 0. These are positive integers. For fraction, this is not integer. Let's say 5/2. This also can be negative or positive. Okay, the same thing can be positive too. So these are fraction. This, if I divide it, I won't get any perfect number. Okay, so this is one kind of differentiation, integer and fraction. Then after, the natural number, natural and your whole number. So what is that? Natural number is the number all are positive integer more than 0, starting from 1 to infinite number, but not including 0. Whereas the whole number is the number including 0 and any number afterwards in the positive side. So you can say that the whole number is nothing but 0 plus natural number. Whole number is denoted by W, whereas natural number is denoted by N. Whereas integer also represented by I, fraction is fraction. So these are second kind of differentiation, whole number and natural number. I will come to their property later on. Just for the familiarization, I am saying the different kind of numbers. So this is one. Then after come odd and even. This is another kind of differentiation. Odd numbers are those which are not divisible by 2. Even number are those which are contradictory, means opposite, which are divisible by 2. Which are not divisible, this odd number, even is which are divisible. So for example, 3, 5, 7, these are not divisible by 2, and these 2, 4, 6, these are odd divided. So alternately you can say the odd and even are coming alternatively. That means in number system, if I say the natural number 1, 2, 3, 4 like that, so every alternate number is even and every odd are alternatively coming. Okay, so you can say the difference between an odd number, the consecutive odd number, even number is always 1, or between two odd numbers or two consecutive even numbers, the difference is 2. So these are the sum of the property. Is very easy to understand. Then comes prime and composite number. So prime number, as per definition, you can say the number which are divisible by 1 and self. So that means if I take an example of number 5, it can only be divisible by 1 and itself. So there is no other factor other than these two. So this kind of number is called prime number. Whereas the composite number are those which can be defined straightaway other than prime number, This is the straightforward answer, prime number. All numbers are composite, or you can say where we get factors apart from 1 itself. We can get factors apart from 1 and itself. If I get any other factors apart from this, then it's not a prime. Let's say for example 4. It has a factor of 1, 2 and 4 itself. So apart from 1 and 4, I am getting another factor is 2. So it is a composite number. So this is the difference between the prime number and composite number. Now next comes odd even rational and irrational. This I came across when I was discussing the chapter 3rd. Again I am just describing for you. Rational number those which can be represented in form of the ratio of two integers. These are integers. Okay. These are integers. So rational number are those which can be represented in the form of two integers. That means I can say 5 by 2 is a rational number, or minus 5 by 2 also a rational number. It can be negative or positive, any number, rational number, but it should be a ratio of two integers. Okay. Whereas in irrational number I cannot represent this q by p. If I take example of root 5 by 2, so root 5 is not a perfect, cannot be perfectly factorized. So this cannot be done square root perfectly. So it will give something which is not a integer, but it is an integer. So this kind of thing, or else 5 by root 5 by root 3 also an example where both are not an integer. The first and foremost is it cannot be represented in the form of p and q. Okay. So other things you can go to the 3rd chapter where more descriptive things are written, but this is the basic thing that you have to remember, that rational number are those which can be represented in p by q, the two integer. Here we cannot. Okay. The next come the real and imaginary. Okay, so real number are those any numbers which is real. That means minus 5, 3 by 2, 2.3, plus 5, or any number you can think of are of real number. But it differs from the imaginary only when I get something negative under the square root, or basically cube root or any root, or this minus cannot be eliminated. Minus below cube root can be eliminated, but if it is below the square root, if something comes like that, I cannot eliminate this minus. So it is represented with a special symbol, that is small I. So if somewhere any number comes along with I, then it is an imaginary number. Such kind of number, sometimes it is called complex, where it is a combination of real and imaginary. Okay. So A is a real number, B is a real number, but B with I is A plus B. It is called complex number, where the combination will come. Okay. So these are the classification. Apart from that, some number that I have described here, decimal you can say in real number. Within that real number, this is decimal, this is fraction. These are the different name of any number that you can give. So that also comes under the real number. So broadly I have described the numbers system. These are the broad description or classification of numbers. Okay, so this is up to this is okay. Then after I will come with in a fresh chapter, because that needs some time to describe. So I will not continue in this chapter, rather I will come in the next chapter where I will describe some rules of whole number with example. So thank you for now. Good night.